So today I'm going to be talking about how to be more consistent as a footballer. Now, we all know that consistency is key. It's much better to do an hour of training every single day than to do 7 hours of training once a week. Like we all know that it's all about the consistency over each and every day. Even if you're doing training sessions for like half an hour every single day, that's still way better than the guy who's doing like 4 hours, but he's only doing it once a week. So today I'll be talking about how to stay consistent, and obviously a lot of young players find it hard to be consistent because there's some days where you just don't feel like it. You're not feeling disciplined. Maybe you feel tired. Your body's a little bit sore. You don't really want to do the boring stuff, the little stuff that will help you, but you just can't be bothered that day. So today I'll be teaching you how to be more consistent. And the first point about consistency is you have to batch your tasks together. So what I mean by this is that you have to have a period of time where you literally just take one day to just sort out everything for like a week advance, just in case something pops up in your weeks, just in case something dramatic happens, just in case something pops up and you don't have the time to train, or you don't have the time to maybe do your schoolwork, you don't have the time to just basically focus on improving your game. So for example, if you have like a test coming up, let's say you have a test in school coming up, and you have to revise for that test. Maybe let's just say for the whole next week, you're probably gonna have to revise for that test that's coming up. On the Sunday, what you should do is that take that 1 to 2 or even 3 hours to literally just prepare your flashcards, prepare your notes, and just make sure that you know what you're gonna do every single day, so that that following week, okay, cool, I'm gonna do half an hour of this on Monday, half an hour of this on Tuesday, half an hour of this on Wednesday, so that when it actually comes to that week, you're not stressing, you're not thinking about, oh, what do I need to do? I need to do this, but I need to go training, but I need to also, do my revision stuff. Just prepare in advance. Just take a day, take a few hours in a day just to prepare everything in advance, just in case something pops up. So you still have the time to go to school, do your revision, but you also have the time to still carry on training, still improve as a player. So yeah, literally that's the first point. Literally just batch your tasks together. So just in case, like I said, just in case something pops up in life, you never really know, to be honest. Like something might pop up, which means you have to miss training or you have to miss a match, and you don't want that to happen. Maybe you might just have like a surprise test or something and you didn't even know, and now you're thinking, now you're stressing, now you're rushing, now your mind's everywhere. Or maybe you didn't realize that you had like an exam on the same day you had a match, and now you have to miss your match. You didn't tell your coach, and now it's just all stressful. You want to avoid you want to have as little stress as possible. So literally just take take a day to batch your tasks together so you're prepared in advance, whether it's a week in advance, 5 days in advance, 2 days in advance, whatever you need to do. That's how you stay consistent. Just minimize the stress, so that all right, cool, if anything pops up, you still have the ability to stay consistent. You still have the time to go to train, you still have the time to play matches, work on your game, do whatever you need to do to balance school and improving as a player. So an example of batching your tasks together is literally just me recording these videos. So like normally I do, maybe I'll record in one day probably 2 to 4 vids. So just in case I don't have time to record a vid one day, I can just put a vid out, because actually uploading a vid, it literally takes like what, less than 10 minutes. You just put the title, put the thumbnail, the description. You just, yeah, it's just quick, literally less than 5 minutes, and the video's uploaded. So if there's ever a day where I need to go somewhere, or I'm traveling, or I just don't have time that day, or maybe it's just one of them days where I just can't be asked to record a video. I just can't be asked to make content. Maybe I've gone uni, I've gone football, I've come back and I'm just tired, I'm just shy, I can't be asked to get on camera and talk. Those are the days where it's like, all right, cool, I've already recorded 4 vids yesterday, so now all I need to do is just upload a vid, and it's there. People can watch it. So that's an example of literally just batching your tasks together. So that's why I always do probably 2, 3, or 4 vids every single recording session. So yeah, that's an example of batching your tasks. And then the next point is literally that something is better than nothing. Now, you might go through a period of where maybe it's exam season and you just don't have the time to, do your normal hour and a half training, your normal 1 hour in the gym session. Maybe you just don't have time for that. So in my opinion, if you want to stay consistent, you literally just have to, just reduce the time limit to an acceptable level. Maybe instead of an hour and a half training session, maybe you train for a 45 minutes, an hour. Maybe in the gym, you don't lift weights in the gym that day. Maybe you just do some cardio. You improve your fitness Instead of that 1 hour gym session, you do 20 minutes, half an hour. Just get it done. Because in my opinion, keeping the streak alive, it just makes it so easier to just get back into that consistent sort of rhythm. It just makes it so much easier to get back into the 1.5 hour training session. Because imagine you just stop doing it for like 2 weeks. From going from 0 to an hour and a half back again every single day is just tough. Like you're not gonna feel like it. And the first session back, you're probably not going to be motivated because, like I said, you haven't done it in like 2 weeks. But if during those 2 week that 2 week period where you've been busy, if you've just been doing half an hour, 45 minutes, once your time is freed up again and you need to go back to that 1.5 hour training session, it's going to be so much easier to get back on that horse. It's going to be so much easier to just get back to your normal routine, your normal just your normal way of living, basically. Because think about it, just the act of saying, all right, cool, I did something today, it just makes it so much easier. Because imagine you don't do anything in that period. Maybe you've had exams and you just haven't played football at all. You haven't worked on your game. Low key, you think to yourself, all right, cool, I've been busy, it's cool. But in the back of your mind, you're thinking, you might think, I'm lacking behind. Other people are getting to work on their game, but I'm here lacking behind. When you go to bed that night, you're going to be thinking, oh damn, I don't get to train. What I'm saying? I'm lacking behind. Other people are working on their game. So instead of just saying, oh, if I can't do the hour and a half, I just won't do anything at all. Literally, just do the half an hour session, do the 45-minute session. Just keep that streak alive, because ultimately, once your time gets freed up again, it'll be so much easier to just get back on that horse. I remember me during my GCSEs, my exam season. One mistake I made is that I completely stopped playing football. I completely stopped playing football for like 2 weeks, like I said. So I've made this mistake before as well. I stopped for like 2 weeks, and trust me, when I got back, it took me a while to get my motivation up, get my discipline up. Obviously, the first session back, I was excited. I was excited to be playing football again. But after like the first day, the first 2 days, after the novelty's worn off, after the initial getting back into it, after on like day 4 or day 5, it was like, I'm tired of this now. And that's simply because I didn't play for a whole 2 weeks. If during those 2 weeks I'd played half an hour here, 45 minutes here, maybe an hour, instead of the normal hour and a half, 2 hour sessions, if I just reduced it to an acceptable length, it would have been so much easier just to get back on that horse, because I still would have had that rhythm, I still would have had that consistency. It's all about that momentum, in my opinion. Once you have that momentum and you've been doing something for 30 days in a row, 10 days in a row, 20 days in a row, however long it is, it's so much easier just to keep doing that habit. It almost just becomes automatic. It just becomes a habit. What I'm saying? That's why I think it's so much better for young players to literally just you might as well train every day, even if it's not at a high intensity. You might as well just train every day, or at least do something that will improve your game every single day. Then just tell yourself, I'm gonna train like a beast 3 days a week. I'm gonna train for 2 hours. I'm gonna absolutely knacker myself out for 2 hours, but I'm only gonna do it 3 days a week. In my opinion, that's not the way to go. In my opinion, you might as well do it every day, but then plan the sessions on however you're feeling. If you're feeling good that day, if you're feeling that you can do a 2 hour session, great. If you're not feeling great that day, then just say to yourself, I'm only going to do half an hour, I'm only going to do 45 minutes. Just make sure that it's every single day, because in my opinion, every single day is way easier to stick to. Because if you say let's say you do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but you do 2.5 hour training sessions, you go intense. Let's say you do the first one on Monday. After that session, you're sore, your body's tired. On Tuesday, you take a rest. On Tuesday night, when you're going to bed that night, you're probably going to be dreading the Wednesday session. You're probably going to be thinking, it was so intense on Monday. Look how sore I was on Tuesday. If I go now, you're thinking in your head, do I really want to go on Wednesday? And then guess what? Wednesday might come up, you might still be feeling sore, and then what happens? You end up missing that training session. You end up taking a rest day on Wednesday. Maybe you take your rest day on Thursday as well. You do on Friday, but in the end, that's only 2 sessions a week compared to the guy who's doing, he's doing an hour every single day, or even 45 minutes every single day, just working on, position specific things, just working on whether it's the technicals, whether it's the fitness, whether he's just whether he's taking extra time to watch games, just analyze whatever player plays his position. It's, in my opinion, it's all about the consistency. I've said it before about young players. It's all about the volume. It's all about, you know, how much you actually do stuff, not just doing everything in one day, but just the consistency, just something every single day. Because like I said, once you do something every single day, it just becomes a routine. It just becomes a habit. It doesn't even feel like work at a certain point. It just feels like, yo, okay, this is what I do before school every single morning. I go to the park for 45 minutes, or I do this for 45 minutes. I do this for an hour. Just something. So yeah, that's all I've got to say for this video about consistency. Hope you enjoyed. I've been JT, and I'm out.